Hello everyone, welcome to Lockdown Season 1. Today we talk about the separation between church and state in America. When people talk about America, they might think of many religious holidays, such as Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Easter is in March or April, and to memorize the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And people prepare colored eggs and rabbits, which symbolizes the life and vitality. In Halloween, the kids usually wear costumes like ghosts and spirits, ask for candy, treat, or trick. Thanksgiving is at the end of November for the grace of God, for the sacrifice of the first colonists of Mayflowers, for kindness and help from the Indians. Christmas is more important, similar like China's Spring Festival, to celebrate the birth of Jesus with a Christmas tree and a gift from Santa Claus. Besides, on US dollar bill printed, "In God We Trust." At the inauguration ceremony, the newly elected president always take oaths with Bible. Among the 46 US presidents, all are Christians except John Kennedy and Joe Biden are Catholics. Religion plays a very important role in America. There are almost 3,000 religious organizations nationwide. Even some people might believe Christianity is the state worship in America. Yet strictly, America is secular with separation of church and state. And it is clearly written in the U.S. Constitution and Chapter 6, Article 3, that no religious test should ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. Based upon the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, America is religious free. The Congress should make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise therefore. People enjoy the freedom of to believe and not to believe, freedom to believe one religion or something else. And later, the third US president, Thomas Jefferson, paraphrased this sentence as building a wall of separation between church and state. There has been a long controversy in America about the relationship among government, church, and public school. Whether government should endow some privileges to the church, and how much the church can influence the government, and whether open prayers be permitted or not at the public school. The arguments still linger today. The controversy to separation of church and state, there are also countries of theocracy. The Vatican, a very special one, where lives the Pope for all the Catholics and a holy place for 1/6 of the world population. That's a country within a city, and with its territory size only 0.44 square kilometers, its citizens is fewer than 1,000. Yet it has diplomatic relations with 183 countries globally. Then Iran in the Middle East, where its leaders of a Shiite sect of the Muslim is regarded as the paramount leader of the country, and the book of Quran is the supreme law. Saudi Arabia is also a country of theocracy. Rather than a religious leader, the king as a constitutional monarch is the guardian of the two holy places. The current Taliban government of Afghanistan is also a country of theocracy. Certainly, there are many other countries that are not ruled by theocracy, yet religion still plays key roles, such as like in Malaysia, that's Islam is the state religion. And in Thailand, 96% of the population believed in Buddhism. There are other secular countries or atheistic countries. All the socialist countries should be atheistic, such as China. Yet even in China, there are different beliefs. such as Christianity, Islam, Taoism, and the popular Buddhism, even Lamaism in Tibet and Inner Mongolia. China has official Bureau of Religion and in charge of all related activities and management. The atheists in China mainly refer to those who work in government, and the communist members totally for about 80 million. Yet China is a country with 1.4 billion people who enjoy the freedom to believe or not to believe, and the wars aroused by religion. There are numerous wars in history due to religion, such as the War of Crusades between the Christians of Europe and the Muslims of the Middle East to take over the holy city of Jerusalem. Underwent 10 massive wars within 200 years. And the 30 Years' War from 1618 to 1648. First as a civil war within the Holy Roman Empire, and then inflicted the whole Europe, resulted in total casualties of 8 million people. After religious reformation in Europe, the war between the Catholics and the Protestants in France caused the deaths of 3 million. And the persecution in Britain forced many of the Protestants immigrated to colonies in America. Even among Muslims, there are conflicts between the factions of Shiites and Sunni. In Chinese history, there happened the Heavenly Kingdom uprising in the name of God worship, lasting for 14 years, afflicted half of China and almost toppled the Mandarin Qing government. The partition of India and Pakistan was due to reconcilable clashes between the Hindu and the Muslims, and finally broke up. Reformation. As in Christian history, there occurred an important Protestant Reformation. For Roman Catholic, it had been long in the theocracy and hegemony of power, and resulted in infamous corruption since medieval. Especially when indulgence sale for collecting money, claiming the believers could purchase the indulgence in the church. The more you buy, the more of the saints redeemed. Very similar to the saying that money talks. This system was doubted and opposed from Martin Luther, a priest in Holy Roman Empire. In 1517, he published his 95 Theses, argued and criticized the Pope's corruption. Luther insisted that salvation is from God's grace, freely endowed to the believers. People can be redeemed only by believing in Jesus Christ. That is justification by faith, rather than their personal merits. Martin Luther also put forward the notion of two kingdoms, two government and two powers, intended to break the ransom interference of Catholic Church to secular governance. Meanwhile, dissuade the German emperor or the vassals from following the Pope in persecution. Luther's Reformation was the first idea about the separation of church and state. And wisdom of American forefathers. The first American 13 colonies on a new continent were created with the pioneering spirit of their forefathers across the ocean and the freedom of religion. In November 1620, the ship of Mayflower with 102 Protestants from England. They arrived in America and planted the first colony in Virginia. Before landing, the 41 adults on board jointly signed the document as a Mayflower Compact, agreed to establish and obey a civil government. The compact said, for the glory of God, for advancement of Christian faith, and for honor of the king and the country, they solemnly and mutually, in the presence of God and one another, and convene and combine themselves together into our civil body politic for their better ordering, preservation, and good end. The compact has been regarded as the first idea of a founding of America. In colonial time, church and state bound closely, very similar to the former state religion in Europe. As it went, the freedom they sought for was only granted to their own belief and affection, rather than to those who believed differently. And later, even the King of England had to write to the government of the colony for freedom of religion to those Anglicans from Church of England. The Protestants first fled from the persecution of the old continent, yet they were reluctant to give equal rights to those other believers, contrary to the initial pursuit of freedom of religion. Even when the independence war began, there were still 8 states among the 13 colonies ruled by theocracy. The forefathers of America held to the belief that all men are created equal and realized the necessity of a separation of church and state, believing religion should be based on reasoning and faith rather than violence and force. It is hard for a government to determine the ruling position of a belief, and if a religious persecution continued, the division and conflict would never end, and it would be hard for Americans to be united. In 1786, the regulation on freedom of religion in Virginia was passed under the help of Thomas Jefferson and Thomas Edison, forbidding religious slavery or any state religion, insisting people's right of freedom exercise in faith, which developed to be the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution in 1791 about freedom of religion. Separation of church and state is the same as a check and balance of U.S. government, reveals the wisdom and foresight of the forefathers of U.S. independence, and also for today's America. Here comes the end of today's program. Thank you for your watching, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye.